You are watching Codexum. Signal archive. The fragments remain. In the golden deserts of Egypt, where dunes shift like waves frozen in time, there are stories buried deeper than any tomb. Stories of kings, forgotten dynasties, and cities swallowed whole by the desert. For centuries, whispers spoke of a lost Egyptian settlement, a city that vanished abruptly, consumed by sandstorms so violent that entire neighborhoods disappeared overnight. Most believed it was a myth, a legend told by Bedouins beside campfires. But in the early 2000s, archaeologists made a discovery that stunned the world. An entire ancient city found perfectly preserved beneath meters of sand. Houses, workshops, streets, tools. All frozen as if the inhabitants had vanished in a single moment. Tonight, you'll walk through the rebirth of this forgotten city and uncover the mystery of why it disappeared. Local tribes have passed down the story for generations. They spoke of a settlement once vibrant, thriving under the rule of a pharaoh whose identity remained uncertain. Some said it was a trade hub, others claimed it was a spiritual center. But all versions agreed on one detail: the desert took it in a single night. Explorers of the 19th and early 20th centuries searched for any trace. But the desert is deceptive. Dunes shift constantly, covering and uncovering ruins unpredictably. By the late 20th century, the legend had become little more than folklore, until satellite imaging changed everything. Archaeologists using infrared and radar-based imagery spotted geometric shapes. Beneath the desert's surface, straight lines, perfect circles, and angular shadows impossible to form naturally. These shapes resembled streets and building foundations. A team was assembled. Weeks passed as they dug carefully through layers of sand. Stone walls emerged, clay ovens, pottery jars still resting where someone once placed them, doorways intact. It was as if time had simply paused. They had uncovered a complete ancient Egyptian city, nearly untouched. The discovery was so extraordinary that some archaeologists called it the Egyptian Pompeii of the desert, but with one crucial difference. There were no signs of destruction. No fire. No invaders. No collapse. Just abandonment. Instant, complete, and unexplained. As the sand was cleared, the city revealed itself. Houses arranged in orderly blocks, workshops filled with tools, storage rooms containing sealed jars, jewelry-making stations with tiny beads scattered on the floor, a bakery where loaves seemed ready to be shaped. Everything sat exactly where it had last been. Touched? The preservation was so perfect that archaeologists could reconstruct daily life. Families prepared meals. Artisans shaped metal, scribes recorded inventories, children likely played in courtyards, and then they vanished. The city felt like a paused heartbeat, an echo of civilization waiting to speak. But the most intriguing discovery came next: an administrative building containing unopened clay tablets and stamp seals. Some of these seals bore the symbols of a well-known pharaoh. Others belonged to officials whose names were entirely unknown. It suggested a political structure historians had never seen before. With no signs of battle or natural disaster inside the settlement, the question grew louder. What forced every inhabitant to leave simultaneously, leaving all their possessions behind? Several theories emerged. 1. A massive sandstorm. Some believe an enormous, Sustained sandstorm may have buried the city faster than its residents could react. But critics argue, why didn't they return afterward? Why leave food, tools, valuables too? Resource depletion, perhaps the water source dried up suddenly. Yet archaeologists found evidence of wells still containing signs of moisture at the time of abandonment. 3. The government-ordered evacuation. This theory grew stronger when sealed tablets were studied. One clay document referenced an abrupt directive from a royal overseer, a relocation order. But why would the entire population be moved so urgently for? Something not yet understood. Some researchers suggest the answer lies beneath the layers they haven't yet uncovered. Because while exploring deeper chambers, they encountered something unusual. Near the administrative center, archaeologists uncovered a staircase descending into the earth. Beneath it lay a hidden chamber, perfectly sealed. Inside, they found maps drawn on papyrus, records of trade routes, notes referencing restricted zones, and unusual symbols suggesting secret royal activity in the region. Most strikingly, they found an unmarked sarcophagus lid with no identifying inscriptions. Extremely rare for Egyptian culture. Some speculate it might have contained someone important, someone intentionally erased from historical records. If the burial site held political or spiritual significance that had to be concealed, the city's sudden disappearance becomes easier to understand. Perhaps the people were removed, not because of danger, but because the pharaoh demanded silence. As excavation expanded, archaeologists realized the sand had preserved the city like a natural cocoon. Exposure to open air actually began to damage some structures, forcing them to work cautiously. Yet the more they revealed, the more questions emerged. Why were tools mid-use? Why were doors left open? Why were storage rooms full? Why does no ancient text mention this city? And the most haunting question, why did they leave without taking anything? A series of footprints, petrified beneath a layer of hardened sand. The prints suggest a large group leaving in an organized line, as if fled, not fleeing. The city lost beneath the Egyptian desert remains one of archaeology's most astonishing discoveries. A place perfectly preserved, yet wrapped in silence. A forgotten chapter of a civilization known for recording everything. And yet the city was erased from its books. Why? Was it abandonment? Evacuation? Political secrecy? Or something carried to the grave by ancient rulers? What we know is simple. The desert can hide a city for thousands of years. But the truth, once uncovered, refuses to stay buried. And as archaeologists continue to unearth new chambers, the city whispers again through sand, stone, and secrets left behind. This is Codexum, where anomalies are documented, not explained.